Hello YouTube. This week I've got the keys to a 2018 Chevrolet Equinox. Let's take a look. So this is the 2018 Chevrolet Equinox, completely redesigned. Well improved over the previous generation as well. This one here, I believe, is an LT model, 2LT, so it's got a 2-liter engine, all-wheel drive. It's got 252 horsepower, I believe, 260 pound-feet of torque, so it's quite peppy. Similar to the Ford Escape in power, and it's about the only competitor, actually, that's got about the same amount of power. You're looking at competitors, you're looking at the CR-V and the CX-5 kind of size. It's a compact SUV, and this one's about 37,000 Canadian, and then you've got PDI and freight and stuff, so you're about 40 grand on the road for this. So it's 2-liter turbo, as it says here. It's got a tow package as well, all-wheel drive. A little bit dirty because it's snowing like crazy. One interesting thing here I want to mention is this camera, because it's not dirty. It was a little bit dirty, but I've been driving this all week, and this is probably the first SUV or hatchback that I've ever driven that in the snow and slush that the camera doesn't get all messed up, and I didn't have to clean it every day, which is really cool. Power tailgate. Quite a bit of space inside, actually. It's quite a large trunk. There's no cargo cover, but you can get one as an option. And you've got a 12-volt power supply here, and you've got these pull handles to flip the seats down to make it easier. So you can pull up here to flip the seats down, or you can just pull on this right here. So really easy from the back seat. That's a really smart design there. You've got some more space under here for stuff, and then this comes out. It's kind of a pain. And you've got a flat floor whenever you flip those seats down. So flip this one down too. You gotta really reef on this though. Oh, and this one's kind of stuck. There we go. So there you go. So you got quite a bit space in there. So let's go take a look at the inside. Once you got these seats, so they're pretty easy to flip up. You just got to make sure the seat belt's out of the way, and you flip up and hop inside because it is freezing out there. So I'm trying to get inside here. Pull this up, easy to flip up, and quite a bit of space in the back seat as well. There's actually quite a bit of legroom, and the seats are sculpted out. They didn't even need to do that because there's so much legroom actually, but they sculpted them out, and they gave you map pockets on the back. And this panel roof up here, really big, lets in tons of light. This is actually a really, really good design. They really, really thought about a lot of things here. The only thing I guess kind of feels cheap for a $40,000 car is the interior here. These hard plastics are kind of cheap feeling. A couple USB ports down here, and another 12 volt. And there's a bunch of USB ports up front. We'll go take a look at that. And I'll show you that in a second. So up front, you've got quite a bit of features to go through here. The one thing I'll mention is, so it is powered by that 2-liter turbo engine, a 4-cylinder. It has the 9-speed automatic transmission, which is super smooth. 0 to 60 on this is about 7.5 seconds or something, 7.2 I think it was, I read it. So it's pretty quick. It's got dual zone climate control, and it's got heated seats, and the heated seats on this fabric, so it's like I don't know, it's a weird type of fabric, but it's a fabric, and it feels kind of nice, and the heated seats work amazing. It's like super hot, super fast. I love it. Also down here, we've got a trailer mode here, as well as an all-wheel drive. So the theory with this all-wheel drive is, in the summer, when it's dry, you turn off your all-wheel drive, and you're only powering the front wheels. You'll get better fuel economy, and then you can do that on dry roads all the time, and then switch to all-wheel drive when you need it. Of course, around here, it seems to be I've needed it all week. I've had this all-wheel drive on all week, and because of it, my fuel economy has suffered a bit. At 10.2 average fuel economy, 10.2 liters per 100 kilometers, and it's rated at like 8. So that proves the all-wheel drive versus front-wheel drive can make a big difference. So down in here in this little cubby hole, you've got a couple USB ports and an auxiliary and a 12 volt, and then you got a couple cup holders and another little spot for stuff, and your parking brake is here, and you've got a fairly big container here with a couple more USB ports. So lots of little, features they've added. Good sized glove box. This is kind of softish material, but this is all kind of hard plastics on the sides. Down on the door here, you've actually got a setting for your rear door, so you can have it open max 3/4 or off, and it's a push button. You push that, and that opens up the rear door. So that's kind of nice to have. Really easy to get to. I've actually pretty impressed by the ergonomics in this car. Everything is really easy to get to, really intuitive, and really simple to use. You've got your nav system, or sorry, not navigation system. There is actually no nav on this one. If I go over to home, you'll see if I go to OnStar Nav. So it's the OnStar Nav system, so you have to call OnStar, and if you have a subscription to them, and then they'll download the map and the directions to your screen. But without that, you don't have navigation. It's got, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto on here. And this system, I've mentioned in other GM reviews, is really good. It's way better than their old system, and they've done a good job. It's very responsive, and it looks really sharp. And if we throw that into reverse, you'll see nice big screen here, easy to see, and the lines move with the steering wheel as well. So it's really easy to park this thing, and as I mentioned, the camera, I guess the way it's placed, it just hasn't been getting dirty, even with the snow and salt and slush. And on Monday I drove this thing, and it was a huge storm, and I got home and the camera was still clear. So that was really great, because I've had other cars, you drive it 15 minutes and then you can't see out the back of the camera anymore. Through in the dash, you've got your fuel gauge, temperature gauge, and RPM on the side. It's got an auto start stop on this car as well, and you've got your speedo over here, and you've got in the middle. So I got my trip up right now, and you've got these arrow buttons on here on the steering wheel, and you can go through those. So trip B, trip A, and you've got a whole bunch of stuff like audio and your navigation and options and that. And then you'll see here the traction control I have off, because I was doing some donuts for a second. So if you go into there, and you can turn off and turn on your stability control and traction control in the menus right there. So there's not a quick button. You do have to do it through there, but most people aren't turning that on and off unless, say, they're completely stuck in the snow or something. Then you can turn that off. And if you're moving above a certain speed, you can't turn off the stability control, but you can turn off the traction control. But if you're going slower, you can turn off both the traction and the stability control. On the left, you've got your headlight switch, automatic headlights, so just kind of leave it there. And then a dimmer for the dash lights as well. The headlights on this thing are amazing. They're LED headlights. I'm driving at night out in the country and kind of want to upgrade my car, because I've got HIDs, and I still find that this is just so much better. It's another leap forward in technology over halogens, and then HIDs, and then now LEDs are just so damn good that it's a very white light, huge dispersion, and you can see out in the ditches, you can see the whole road, very far transmission as well. It works amazing. This does have cruise control, not radar cruise, just regular cruise, but it does have cruise as well. And of course you got your voice recognition and phone Bluetooth stuff on here as well. So it's got a ton of stuff. It is a little bit pricey though, I think, for this category, for what you're getting, in terms of, kind of features, I guess. It does have blind spot indication as well. But it does have that peppy engine, so you can go with a smaller engine. It's a few $1,000s cheaper. It's got a 1.5 liter engine with 170 horsepower, but that might feel a little bit slow. And this 2 liter is like the opposite. It's like, super fast. I guess not super fast, but fast for this category. It feels very peppy. You're not really wanting all the time for it. It's pretty good. and it's not too bad on fuel, although 10.2 isn't the greatest, I guess. So let's take this for a drive, and you'll see why I'm kind of happy with this thing. So that's one of the first things I noticed with this car. When all-wheel drive, it's actually really fun to drive. You know, if you're not careful on the throttle in all-wheel drive mode, it will kick out the rear end. For some people, I guess that might be a little bit scary, but the stability control snaps in pretty quick and grabs the car. But of course, I was being a little bit greedy on the throttle there to do that. But it's fun to drive. It feels light. You know, it's a crossover. It's not a light car, but it feels really light. And you know, easy to drive, easy to park. The one thing I really noticed with this during the week is visibility. So looking around, I don't know how well the camera will kind of pick it up, and I'm not going to make you sick watching this as I move my head around. But if you look around, you can see all around the vehicle all the time. As cars approach you, you know, the mirrors are really good, and the visibility is really good driving around the city and pulling in and out of parking lots. And I found a lot of SUVs, visibility is kind of sketchy. And I'm really happy about that with this car. This is actually, you know, GM recently with their new designs, they've got the new Malibu, and then they've got this new Equinox. These are the most recent ones that I've driven, and they're really improved. You know, they used to be, I wouldn't say bottom of the barrel, but GM has always kind of been penny pinching in their features and their kind of build quality over the time. And then they get, you know, they're realizing that in order to make the sales with people being a little bit more, you know, people doing more research than they used to do. People used to just, you know, drive into their Chevy dealer or drive into their Ford dealer and just buy a car. These guys have had to get better quality, better interiors, and better ride, and really, and you know, make sure they impress people like me, so that you know, I make good videos or write good articles and get people into their cars, because people are doing more research nowadays with the internet, right? So, anyways, this thing is you know, really impressive actually. You know, ride quality on this is really impressive. It's super smooth ride, really quiet on the highway. You don't need, you know, they're doing such amazing things with suspensions now. You don't need the big long wheelbase. I mean, the longer wheelbase gives you a better ride, and they're still doing it with the shorter wheelbases now. They're giving you a good ride, and it's actually quiet and smooth, even over rough bumps. And that this thing actually soaks it up quite well. And this really is surprising me at how much I like this vehicle. GM, you know, I drove their Malibu. I did a review. You can check it out on my channel. And you know, I really liked that car, except the suspension was so bad. It was so clunky. I mean, it rode okay, but it was so clunky and loud. It just, I could not live with that. And with this thing, I'm really impressed with how it performs. Well, there you have it, the 2018 redesigned Chevrolet Equinox. Get it in white if you like to blend in with the snow. As you can see here, it's kind of blending in. But it actually stays clean, which is nice. If you get it in black, it'll be dirty all the time. You know, I'm really impressed with it. It really impressed me actually over the week. I was quite surprised. The only thing I wasn't too happy with, I guess, was the fuel economy. It could have been a little bit better, but a lot of wheel slippage in that. Is really snowy this week and really icy, so you know, throw it in front wheel drive mode and, you know, cruise on the highway. You're probably going to get a lot better mileage. And if you're looking for better mileage, you can go with the lower horsepower 1.5 liter engine instead of the 2 liter engine. Thanks for watching my video. Hope you enjoyed it, and please subscribe to my channel and check out other videos that I have with comparables to this.